the only show that's 3 dimensions away from Guardians of the Galaxy 4, directed by James Gunn, actually happening. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, released in 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was written and directed by James Gunn, and stars, once again, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Sean Gunn, Chewie Alafort, Karen Gillan, and Sylvester Stallone. The movie essentially takes place a couple of years after the events of Thor: Love and Thunder, where the Guardians now, basically after Rocket is attacked by Adam Warlock, and they have to find out where his origins and where he come from and everything, so that they can help him. And then we see, of course, flashbacks to Rocket Raccoon's origin story. I will say I really like this movie, and I know this movie almost didn't get made for us, almost even didn't happen, period, because it was supposed to come out back in 2020, and so what happened was after a series of old tweets surfaced on, from James Gunn. This Disney didn't feel comfortable and decided to part ways with James Gunn. But then after lots of outpouring love from fans and from the cast and crew of the first 2 movies, the studio, and then after making Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad for DC, the rival company of Marvel, Marvel decided to give him a second chance and let him come back to finish out the trilogy. And this time around, he actually got to make it the holiday special on the set of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie, a time around, which is this movie is a really good and unique movie. I really like this movie. I was kind of skeptical because I'm like I don't know if it's going to be as good as the first two. And I will say that I still prefer the second movie over this movie, but I still think the plot is really well done. I really think the story is really great. I really like the backstory with Rocket, and I really like High Evolution as the main villain. I think the actor that plays him is fantastic. I liked him in Peacemaker, and I like High Evolution in here. And also, there's an Eagle-y cameo from Peacemaker, and there's the eagle in there. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think the cast is wonderful. Again, I always like watching. There's a lot of fun. The cast is always fun to interact with each other, especially when you have Nebula and Star-Lord are acting when he yells and tells her to get the effing car. I thought that was so great. I thought that was fun and adorable. The jokes are pretty good too. Like there's some funny jokes with Drax that I really enjoy. And I thought there's like how like they insult Drax where they're just like. Like they're like he's an idiot, and he goes, I got one of those. And then Nathan Fillion, who's been in all of James Gunn movies, he appears and he goes, I got one of those too. And just mean joke, but it's funny though. And I was like the cameo by James Gunn's wife where she plays like someone that works in the security department for High Evolution, and then all of a sudden they shoot her in the leg and she's screaming, ah! Oh, that guy's like laughing. So there's a lot of good jokes in this movie. I'm sure if I went back and rewatched it, there would be more jokes that I was like, oh yeah, this is funny too, and this is. I mean, there was a lot, like, especially there's a joke with Drax keeps laying on the couch, like, get up, sit up, that's for everyone. No, it's for me. Like, he's just like, he's going back up. And I mean, and Groot is pretty great too. Groot's always fun, and, I really like that. And I also like, James Gunn's Friends and Families, cameos are fun, Nathan Fillion, his brother Sean Gunn. I like, and I thought that was funny. There's even a funny joke when Adam Warlock gets hit with an arrow and he goes, who threw that at me? And just stuff like that, it's just funny. And then Adam Warlock killing that one dude, and it's like he's dead now. It's just, and he tops the, and another thing I really liked is the destruction of the planet. Like, if you watch the movie, High Evolution has a god complex, and he thinks, like, he went to Earth, and he wants to make Earth 2, basically. And he basically makes that, and basically tries to play God and create these people, taking these animals and turn them into people. And then, of course, he decides after he sees, and then, like, when Star-Lord's like, he tries to make the perfect society, of course. And then once he sees, like, Star-Lord tells him, what about the octopus? There's a meth dealer out there. And he goes, that's why I'm going to destroy the planet, because I'm going to restart over again. And I'm just like, and then he just blows up the whole planet and kills everybody on that planet, because he wants to make the society the perfect society. And I love the whole planet destruction thing. It reminded me of Krypton, almost, of just like blowing up Superman's home or blowing up. And it's just like, it's so great. I just like love that, because I was like, oh my god, he's blowing up this whole place. Just boom, boom, boom. And it's just crazy. But I love it. I mean, that was just so unique to see. And I mean, that's just something, like, it shows you how evil this man is willing to go. I really like that aspect of it. And I think, honestly, that it's sad. The scenes are sad. I love that, how sad these scenes are. Like, I get emotional when you see Rocket's origin. The scene I get emotional when they have, like, the scene where he's got, like, where they puts, like, when he shaved his head and he went and drilled a hole in his brain. and they put like his scalp. You see a scalp, and he's like, "Oh, that scene got me the whole most. That scene got me almost just like, oh, that scene got me just like, oh, that was just a horrible scene that I like. I also like their soundtrack pretty. The opening credits are great. I love that song. I went and listened to the song after the movie. It was so good. Rocket Raccoon. The only thing, and there's the things I disliked about the movie. Rocket Raccoon is out of the movie for the most of the part. Like, it's mostly just everybody else. And, you know, and I kind of wish it was more Rocket had more to do in the movie. And it felt like, I'm like, and it's Bradley Cooper's not even voicing him in flashbacks. It's someone else. You know, we don't hear Bradley Cooper until, like, when he's an adult in the flashback. I didn't really like that part. I wish they would have kept Bradley the whole time. But I understand why they used for younger, but for, like, you know. And also, I just kind of wish Cooper was in more of this movie than what we get of Rocket. The soundtrack just didn't hit as well as the first two soundtracks. I just kind of wish they were, you know, they would have hit more like the first two movies. And the animal cruelty was really messed up. I mean, like, I did not like the animal cruelty. I understand why it was necessary, because obviously you can't do a raccoon origin story that got genetically modified without animal cruelty in the movie. But I just seen them as a little tiny raccoon with, like, you know, like covered in blood, and then like you could see her skull, and just like, you know, her crying saying it hurts. That just made me, it broke me, really. It just really broke me. And I really wish, I'm glad it did, but it broke me. But I didn't really want to see that. I'd rather have not seen it, because it was just like, it's too emotional, and it made me sad. You know? And also, Adam Warlock, I thought he was stupid. Like, he's just a man-child. And I hated that aspect of this movie. I kind of wish that I did not get, like, you know, I kind of wish they would have made it more serious instead. Cause like, I was talking to a friend of mine, Jacob Martin, on his channel, and he was like telling me, I thought he was going to be like the main, you know, villain. They were setting him up. Instead, it's just like a joke. And I'm like, I know, right? It's just played for laughs more than anything. And I mean, there are some parts like the, you know, there are two parts out there I did like, though. I will say that those two parts I did like, with them saying who threw that at me, and the part that, you know, when him just like, you know, he was incinerating the guy. I thought that was pretty good. Also, I didn't like the opening shot when the first time we see Adam Warlock is him flying like it looked like a green screen. It's like so fake. I'm like, it felt like a TV movie when he did that. I just didn't like that one part. And nobody also, this one's a little small nitpick. Nobody really dies in this movie. I feel like if it's gonna be the final chapter, we need to see some death. You know, we gotta say this is the end of the trilogy. You know, you gotta see like farewells instead of just like everybody gets their own story and goes like Dark Knight Rises style, where everybody just goes in their own direction and that's it, which is fine. I mean, but. And also, Star-Lord and Gamora don't really get back together, you know. And also, Star-Lord never doesn't get with Nebula either. Like, they were setting out at the beginning of the movie this love triangle kind of thing, and nothing really happens. You know, nothing would happen with Gamora either, and that's kind of irked me, because it's like, we don't get these two love triangles or love stories. They set these two things up like he loves Nebula, Nebula kind of secretly loves him, but then Gamora is coming to the picture, she's starting to fall for him again, but then it goes nowhere, and I'm just like, come on, really? You know, that was my really biggest pick with that. And so, but other than that, I really enjoyed this movie. It's fun, it's a fantastic movie, I really like it. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it a solid A-. Thank you so much for watching.
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.